Hello, friends. Dave Trotter here with Awaken Magazine. I'm so excited to have my friends with me today, our executive contributors, a few of our executive contributors with Awaken Magazine, as we talk about sacred relationships, conscious love, and soul connections. We host the Rise and Shine live stream every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 noon Eastern time, as a way to talk about topics that are important to all of us. And if this topic resonates with you, I'd encourage you to share it with a friend and tell them about our conversation, whether you're watching live or via replay. So each week we feature several of our executive contributors from Awaken Magazine, giving them the opportunity to share their wisdom, their stories, and their message with you. And you get a chance to connect with them and hear what they're all about as well. So today I'm excited to welcome Lilly Wong, Robert Hudson, and Medge Jaspan with me. Welcome, guys. Great to have you.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
So I'd love for you guys to have a chance to just introduce yourselves, share your name, share where you are in the world, and how you are serving our world. So, Lilly, would you mind getting us started?
Absolutely not. I love it. First of all, thank you, David, for this invitation. And I'm so happy to be with all of you and everybody who is watching. I'm Lilly Wong, mother of myth breaking. So, in the name, it says it a lot of what I'm doing for the world. And for me, it's about busting any kind of myth that it's not allowing you to thrive in life. And I do it for conscious leaders, for change makers, so we can all start having a more enhanced oneness, consciousness in absolutely everything we do.
Thank you, Lilly. And where are you located in the world?
Oh, yes. I am Mexican, but I live right now in above Montreal, Canada.
Wonderful. How long have you lived in Canada?
It's going to be 10 years. I was counting. I was like, oh my God, 10 years already.
Yeah, wonderful.
Yes.
That's great. My guess is you're getting this amazing international accent with all of these different sounds coming through your voice. My guess is.
Absolutely, because I lived in Germany and also for around 10 years. I also live around 7 years in Spain. So, yeah, my accent is like, where does she come from?
That's wonderful. Wonderful. All right. Medge, tell us about
Hello.
yourself.
Hello, David. Thank you again.
Uh-oh. Let's see. It looks like we lost Medge's audio. She got locked up there. So we'll come back to Medge. If you can hear me, we'll come back to you in just a moment. And hopefully you can get reconnected there. Feel free to, if you need to leave and come back, that's okay. Robert Hudson, Hands of Era, tell us where you are located, how you're serving the world.
Yeah, thanks, David. I am currently in Austin, Texas. And through my work with Hands of Era, I just guide people out of suffering and disconnection, guiding them back into healing, clarity, and renewed connection with spirit. Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful. It's great to have you. Let's
Thank
see.
you.
I'm wondering if I can I don't want to remove her because then if that like somehow means she can't come back, whoop, there she goes. She did it herself. I'm sure she'll pop back in.
Yeah.
Well, so as we're having Medge joining us in just a moment, oh, here she comes back. Hey, there she is.
I don't know. I think I lost you a few seconds. The weather is not good here in Florida, but so what did you hear?
We
Where
heard
I'm
my name is Meh. That's all we heard.
Oh, so my name is Medge Jaspan. My passion is to encourage you all to live from your heart and be the best version of who you are. I am on Longboat Key, Florida, and the accent is from France.
Bonjour, bonjour.
And so happy to be with all of you, and thank you, David, for inviting us.
Absolutely. I'm so glad you got reconnected with us. Thank you,
Yeah.
Medge. Wonderful. Well, today we're talking about sacred relationships and how do we take into account, integrate, uh, rise up to having a conscious relationship, having sacred relationships, having soul connections, not just with our romantic partners, but with those who are in our life that, maybe our culture would use platonic relationships, friendships, family members, our kids, our coworkers. What does it look like to have sacred conscious relationships? And so I want to start off by kind of just even defining the subject, that what makes a relationship sacred or conscious in your view, or are all relationships sacred or conscious no matter how we approach them? So Lily, would you mind getting us started?
Yeah. For me, I would start with a question back how is your connection with yourself? How sacred is your relationship with you? How sacred is the relation and communication with everything you are? And how sacred is honoring you? Because in my view, the stronger your relationship, for example, body, emotions, and thoughts, the more coherence that is, the more loving your relationship with you, the more soulful connection with you, then it happens with absolutely everybody around you. So that's for me the root.
Yeah, when you say how sacred is your relationship with yourself, what would make my relationship with myself sacred?
For me, is learning to say yes and no. That would be like step one. I think, yeah, I think that was it. It's like learning how to say yes and no in the appropriate times without really what is the other person is going to think, who is going to judge me, and doing it from a deep and heart connection, as Medge is saying. So when I say no, thank you, that's not for me, and then sometimes have the courage to say yes, I'm so scared about this, but it's yes. So start by I feel that connection start by stop, breathe, and observe. Stop all the things that happens around, and just stop.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Bring it back, and then observe what happens.
Okay, so it begins with our relationship with ourselves, as obviously the top line of what you're saying. That's very powerful. Medge, what are your thoughts? How would you define if a relationship was sacred or not, or are all relationships sacred?
So I will tell you exactly like Lily said. It begins by me. The relationship that I am with self is a relationship that I have with my heart. So I will call it my heart. Some of you will say soul, mind, spirit, however you want. I call it my heart. As soon as I live from my heart, I understand that I respect myself, I love myself, and as I do that, not only I will attract people who are resonating with my heart, who are aligned with my heart, but if they are not, what I will do with them? I will completely ignore them? No, they are helping me grow. And I'm sure you will ask this question, David, because they will help me transform and set boundary. Begin to say yes and no, absolutely. Learn how to define who we are. And what is sacred is the connection with my heart. Because this little heart is divine, and this is my sacred relationship with my divine parts. So as soon as I understand that, I live really consciously, I feel better just because I create sacred relationship with everybody.
Wonderful. Thank you. How about you, Robert? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, in my view, it's just a relationship becomes sacred when it's approached as a space of mutual reverence and a mirror for growth. In other words, it's not just really about like two people connecting on a surface level, but more so about seeing the divine within each other and allowing that presence to guide how we show up, how we communicate, and how we honor each other's journey. Yeah.
the word that came to mind as you were just sharing, Robert, was it's not transactional, not just merely transactional. So a lot of our relationships in life, there is a pretty transactional nature to it. Like, I'm going to the store, I'm buying something, right? I'm getting gas, I'm hiring someone to clean my home or mow my lawn, or whatever it is. But even in those transactional relationships, can I move beyond the transaction to have that underlying reverence for the individual and see them, the divinity within them? Yeah, it seems like that changes things. How do conscious relationships or sacred relationships differ from maybe an unconscious relationship or a relationship that lacks a sacredness? How would you, I was kind of touching base a little bit that with the transactional nature to it, but how do you see those differences there, Lilly?
Yeah, definitely. That would be the first thing. And it's a connection. Again, it's the reverence. You feel it, right? It's the connection with heart. It's like, even when a smile, for example, for me, a smile reveals so much, right? And when a smile is not authentic, it doesn't get me, right? It's like, it doesn't touch me. It loses me, actually. It's like, oh, don't do that. Right? It's a disconnection for me. So I'll have to go back to say that the more pure is your intention with yourself, the more you know yourself, then the more pure is what you're sharing in a smile, in your eyes, in that reverence that he is talking, and knowing that everything, it's happening for the higher purpose of all. So for me, allowing me to that, it breaks the transactional. It's like, no, I'm here, and actually I'm just here with my presence. How can I serve you? And funny, it's a feedback system. So when I do that, it comes back to me amplified. It's like, wow, this is wonderful. So for me, is show up when you feel that you should, and the rest flows beautifully.
How about you, Robert, as you hear that, like the differentiation between relationships that feel or are conscious or sacred versus not so much?
Yeah, a conscious relationship to me really is just one where both people are aware of their own inner landscape, right? The know thyself, if you will. So it's not just about like going through the motions or following traditional roles necessarily, but about bringing a kind of loving awareness to each interaction. That means we're not just like reacting out of like habits or old programs or old patterns, but we're really meeting each other with true presence. In a more traditional or less conscious dynamic, often we're just playing out those old roles that we've been taught or learned, those old programs are running, rather than truly choosing each moment with intention.
What's interesting about what you're saying there is I could come off very authentically present, loving, connecting, but I could still be unconscious because I was unaware of my inner landscape, as you said.
Love it.
Correct. That absolutely could happen. In fact, it happens to a lot of people in the early stages of their spiritual journey.
Yeah, great.
Or even early stages of a dating relationship.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
I want to make sure I got my best foot forward, Yeah. Basically, you're just kind of faking it, but
Why?
Medge, how about for you? What are the differences that you would want to tease out between unconscious or conscious, or sacred or non-sacred?
I think when we are aware, we cannot be unaware. That is the first thing. As soon as we begin to be conscious, we understand that you will have sacred relationship with people, and all the people, I will not say they are not good, they cannot be in contact with us. I will simply say that we need to be aware that they are there for us to grow. Because we want it or not, even if the relationship is not sacred, they are helpful. They are helpful to show us what we don't want, to show up what we don't, where we don't want to go, what kind of relationship we don't want, absolutely not in our life. But these people help us grow. They help us understand where we stand, what we want, who we are. And I believe that is so important. So they are all conscious because we are conscious.
Mm-hmm. I
Yeah.
think one of the first things that I want to tease out in our conversation is like this reverence for the individual, seeing the sacredness within, seeing the divinity within the other person. We haven't talked about this, but for me, that's a major shift that if I see everyone through that lens, then all of the inherent differences between us, gender, race, ethnic background, socioeconomic background, educational difference, accents, clothing, where you live, what you do, what you drive, boy, that starts to then melt away, right?
Absolutely.
If
Yes.
we see, yeah, any thoughts on that?
For me, that's the major thing that makes everything turns like, okay, now it's the beginning. And I call it, let's find your uniqueness in oneness. And exactly like you say, for me, unique, also in my life, I try to be better, or I don't want to be worse, or, oh, I am worse than. So it's competition, or it's, I want to be the same, right? I come from a country which is women do not have the same, so I have to be the same, or I have to be even better. And then when you say, oh, it's not about that, it's about being unique. Your unique sparkle in the world as a piece of a whole, in oneness. And the beauty for me is that when you embody your uniqueness, the more oneness you feel. And then, as Medge said, then you cannot unsee it in others either. So for me, it's now whoever coming to my life is, just share my uniqueness. I vibrate it. Show me yours.
Yes.
And that's so strong connection.
That is so beautiful. So beautiful. So I want to move on to what Medge was just leading us toward, which was every relationship can be conscious if I'm aware of what that individual can be teaching me, becoming a mirror for me. To the degree that you want to get personal, I would love to hear in your own life, perhaps a relationship, whether it's a romantic relationship or a friend or family member, maybe your kids, that have helped you experience significant growth. Now, generally for me, a relationship that helps me experience significant growth is one that isn't going smoothly.
Yes.
Right? It's one that's got some challenges.
Growth
So,
requires stimulus, David.
yeah. So, I mean, I'm happy to share one as well. But is there a particular relationship where you go, man, that really helped me experience growth in a particular season of life, and maybe how it helped you? Is there one of you that would like to go first?
I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Robert.
Well, yeah, there was actually a time in my life where the ending of a relationship actually became the catalyst for me being a part of this conversation today with a huge awareness shift. So at the time, I didn't really realize how much I was like leaning on the other person to feel safe. I needed certain words, certain kinds of reassurance, right? And when that relationship ended, I was fortunate enough to have somebody around me who really challenged me by telling me to take a step back and evaluate my role in that relationship dissolving to the point where it needed to end, right? And not to spend any time whatsoever focusing on anything she did or didn't do, right? And so this really gave me the opportunity, my first opportunity really, to reflect on the fact that my focus during the relationship was on how she was showing up and not how I was showing up. And a woman will show up in a relationship in one of two ways, in my experience. She's either feeling seen, safe to fully embody her divine feminine, or not feeling safe and seen and spending too much time in her masculine, right? So the shift for me became turning my focus inward, and how am I showing up to create that space, right? And for her to feel that, for her to feel seen, safe, and able to fully drop into that feminine energy. That was a huge moment of growth for me, because I really moved from that feeling of being a victim of bad relationships to the situation of understanding that dynamic of how I need to show up. And that's my focus. How do I show up? And how can I bring more presence and consciousness into future relationships?
Mm-hmm. Thank you for sharing that, Robert. How about you, Medge? Is there a relationship that comes to your
Oh, yes.
mind that was?
Unfortunately or fortunately, right? A relationship in a family relationship. So I will just put it this way for obvious reasons. Um, I learned how to set boundary from this relationship because, I was a person pleaser. I'm the oldest one, and I would have done anything to please my sibling, but anything. I didn't know what to do to please them, to be the super friend, the super body. And I realized that no matter what I was doing, it wasn't satisfying. It wasn't what they were expecting. And everything I was doing at one point wasn't satisfying. I step back and I say, okay, it's not about me. It's about the other person. And the other person have all her stuff going on. And no matter what I would have done, it's about the other person growth. So I step back, and as soon as I step back, first I was feeling better because I couldn't do anything, I couldn't change anything, no matter, regardless of what I would have been doing. And I realized that I was feeling more authentic. Exactly like you say, Lily, it's her uniqueness. She have to deal with it. She have to bring it to the world however she wants. She cannot do it exactly like me, and I cannot adapt or do it balance, align to what she is doing. But that was a turning point in my life. I realized, I say, okay, it's enough. I do me. I do exactly like me. I am me. I cannot change who I am, and I don't want to please, please, please. So I learned how to be me, authentically showing up, and that's it. And it was, wow, life changing and feeling so good. So good.
Mhm. How about you, Lily? Is there a
Yeah.
relationship that comes to your mind?
There are many that comes to my mind because no, I truly believe that I've learned with all my relationships, either at work, family, and here. But there's right now the one that comes to me is stepping out of being the mediator, and that was a position I got to earn in my family, and then it was replicated in many situations in my life, no matter where. And with a little bit like what Medge is saying is that I end up, oh, first of all, someone start putting me, oh, Lily, why don't you talk with your dad because he only listens to you? Why don't you talk with your sister because she only listens to you? Why don't you talk with your mom? Like, and already as a child. So at some point, you kind of put that suit on. And at some point, even, oh my God, I'm the savior of this family. I'm the only one, everybody listens, So till I, boom, I say, wow, what an arrogance. I'm just avoiding a deeper connection between them. So I started with the strong position, it was with my family, and I stepped back and I say, oh, could you tell? No, if you want it, you tell. But we're going to end up fighting. You find a solution. And I think that was very powerful because it's like if they want a strong connection, they need to make it. And as also for me was very relief. And I step out of the savior into I'm here. If you want to share, all is well. And that I think makes a strong connection with myself again.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. Thank you. I think two things come to my mind. One is my kids, when they came into this world, they're now 26 and 22. And so many years ago, I found that when they arrived on the scene and they're a few weeks, few months, even 1 year old, I kept thinking to myself, my God, they are so selfish. I mean, they are so self-centered. They just want everything. And like, it's just like, it's all about them, you know? And the thing that became more and more apparent at that stage of my life, I began to learn about the the concept of projection in psychology and in what the scriptures, the Bible would call the log and speck, which is that which is in my eye, or that which I see in others is actually in my eye, and I'm projecting onto them what I see in myself. And so I quickly came to the realization as a young father, geez, the person who's selfish is actually me. I'm the you know, and they have come to show me my selfishness, you know. So that concept of projection has been so helpful for me because I see so many different things in other people. I'm like, oh my gosh, they are so rude. They are so egocentric. They are so critical. They are so judgmental. They are so slow. They are so, wait, how come I can see it so clearly in them? Because it's in me, because it's the lens through which I'm looking into this world. And so that has been a huge eye opener for me. And still now at my age, I still see things so clearly in other people. And I have to take a step back and go, wow, okay, is it in them? Sure, it's in them. But the only reason why I can see it in them is because it is so pronounced in me. And now, one of the powerful things that I learned as a pastor early on was the process of releasing that. And so, if I can articulate in one sentence what I see in another person,
Mhm.
they are being um, judgmental about the people in their life. And then if I reverse that and ask myself, how am I being judgmental about people in my life? You know, are there any ways? And the first thing that I like to, well, not in the way or not to the degree that they are. I mean, they are way worse at it than I am, right? I think, well, okay, well, wait. Is there any possibility that you are judgmental in your life in any way? Yes, okay, I'm judgmental here and here and here and okay, great, okay. So you admit that that is okay, yes. Would you like to be forgiven for your judgmentalness in your life toward these other people? Yes, I would. Okay, great. Um, could it be possible that you would be able to extend that toward them because they're trying to find their way in the same way you are? Yes. Okay. Now, would you want to address that level of judgmentalness or whatever it is in your life? And, you know, what anyway, that shift from those other people onto myself has been a major help in me processing, and it creates empathy. It creates, I'm trying my best. They're probably trying their best, right? I don't know. That's been a major help.
Yeah, that was beautiful, David. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful, and empathy. It's really a great tool to handle relationship, because we have to give you tools, guys who are listening. Empathy, seeing the other person with this over love, we say, okay, she is struggling also, he is struggling also, he doesn't know how to show up authentically, he doesn't know how to, so it's okay. Who I am to judge? Who I am to judge? So it's helping us creating boundary, but seeing also who we are. I end here and you begin there. Because I end here, I take care of me and I know how to handle me. But can you? So if we look at people with this beautiful empathy that you described, David, it's easier to have relationship with people.
Mhm. I want to talk for a moment about how to navigate, as you were saying there, Medge, the conflict in relationship, the challenges, the rub, and how do I, as you mentioned, set a boundary? How do I determine what is an appropriate boundary? Okay, yeah, I'm not going to be the mediator any longer, as you said, Lily. I'm going to let you guys figure it out. That's a boundary that you set. And simultaneously look at my own issues while allowing that other person to take responsibility for themselves. What advice, practical advice, would you bring to the table, Lily, on how to navigate those inevitable rubs that we would face, whether it's in the workplace, whether it's with our own kids, whether it's with family members? Like, how do you suggest that people navigate that type of conflict?
Yeah. And that brings me back to now my partner relationship right now, for example, because that's a very day-to-day example, right? So when I feel right, I know it's not about me, like you say. I know about empathy. I know it's a reflection, but I still start to feel my, something start to grow in me, and I understand. So what I do, it's to break that cycle, because obviously if it's going in me, it's already in him too. It's we start mirroring, and if we both bring it to boil, that's going to explode, right? So when I feel it in my body, this is coming, which means it's I'm not vibrating the empathy, because I'm already got into it. I stop the conversation. Something that at the beginning was challenging for my partner, because I literally say, I don't think this is going further in a good direction. Let me go back. I'll come back. I don't want to end the conversation. I just want to break this energy burst that it's coming. So I say, stop, I'll be back. So I come to my studio, I do my release, I come back to center, I'm back in my center, and I go out again. And I say, let's continue. Funny enough, because I broke that, he's also back into relax too. So, and then I say, okay, now let's sit down. Now let's finish this conversation. Let's see we don't have always to agree, but let's put your points. Tell me how it made you feel, and I tell you how it made me feel. But for me, very important, don't stay in that, and when it's there, sometimes you can be in alignment all the time, but when you feel it's already in your body, stop
Yeah.
and bring back to center.
Thank you, Lily. How about you, Medge? What's some practical advice that you would share in terms of navigating those rubs that we have with people?
So it's funny. I never realized that Lily and I, we are so alike on a lot of on the work that we do. But I step back also. I always step back because I don't like yelling. I don't like that. I never want to engage in this kind of relationship. And that was very difficult. My husband he is more passionate. He will explode 1 second, but I cannot. I might say something that I will regret. I might go in a place that I don't want to go. So I step back. I say, okay, I understand what you say, but give me the time to think about it. And I step back.
Mhm.
And I will give you a little tip that we use. I love ABBA, the group ABBA. So as soon as he feels that I am boiling inside, I don't want to talk because I do not want to talk. I will not talk. he put Abba, and right away I smile.
Beautiful.
So that is a tip that we use in our relationship. He will put my Abba, or I will put Abba for him, and right away we smile.
That's
So
great.
the tension, the pressure is coming down, and after we can talk. And
Wonderful.
it's a huge respect. For me, it's about respect. That also it's bringing
Yeah.
respect to the relationship, more respect.
How about you, Robert? What are some thoughts that you bring to the table on navigating these conflicts we have?
Yeah, I mean, it's some of this is going to sound familiar, but it's I think one of the most practical ways to handle conflict is really to slow everything down and invite in like a lot of presence, right? This could mean taking a few deep breaths together, maybe taking a big deep breath before you respond to anything, or even just coming to a simple agreement like we're going to speak one at a time so that we can really listen to each other. And in that kind of sacred relationship, right, conflict is actually a beautiful invitation to understand each other more deeply rather than oftentimes we view it as something to win or lose. And so maybe approaching it by saying something like, let's find the deeper truth here together and honor each other as we do that. Right. So it can be very helpful to pause and also reflect back what you've heard your partner say before jumping in with your own perspective. That way, both people feel seen. And that conflict can really become more of like a pathway to deeper connection instead of forcing a disconnection. Yeah.
Thank you, Robert. The words that come to mind for me are seek to understand, and it's simultaneously seeking to understand what's going on in terms of my inner landscape. So, wow, okay, I might be able to. First step is I think we have to get in touch with what is the actual emotion that I'm feeling, not just the anger, but I'm feeling sadness, shame, resentment, frustration, whatever. But then beyond what am I feeling? Why am I feeling that? And becoming really aware of seeking to understand why I'm feeling what I felt in that moment for whatever reason. And then also simultaneously seeking to understand what my partner is feeling and then why they are feeling it. And I would say it's tough if I don't have the ability to, one, identify my feelings, two, understand why I'm feeling my feelings. And it's tough to be in relationship with somebody, even if it's not a partnership, friendship, co-working relationship, if someone doesn't have the ability to access what their emotions are and why they're feeling those emotions. Because really that person is then just in a reactive state. And I think it's helpful for me to also know, oh, this is a person that I am in relationship with, in whatever way, working relationship with, that doesn't have the ability to understand their emotions or doesn't have the ability to understand their interior landscape. And I just know I don't want to put them in a box and say they're always going to be reactive, but in this moment in their life, in this season of their life, they are reactive. And so then how do I navigate around that? And I may not want to open myself up to being completely transparent about my emotions or why I'm feeling my emotions with them, because they may actually use that against me in the future if they're just in a reactive state, right? But that doesn't mean that I can't still seek to understand what I'm feeling, but then go, okay, how do I navigate this person who's not in a similar place of seeking to understand themselves? So, yeah, it can be a bit challenging. I'm curious about your perspective on, do you believe that we made agreements with individuals here on this earth prior to coming to this earth? Do you believe that that's even a possibility? Do you believe that beyond a shadow of a doubt that that is the case? I'm just curious about your perspective on that. Robert, do you have some thoughts on that?
No, but I do have a knowing. I do know that. Yeah. We absolutely 100% do that. Not everyone, but that does happen for sure.
Yeah. And do you think that it is for both positive, like, oh, this feels life giving, this feels twin flamish, this feels like a soul connection, or this person, I hate them and it seems like I hate them for no reason. And do you feel like it goes both ways?
I think it runs the full gamut of the human experience, right? Which covers everything from happiness and joy and love to deceit, deception, betrayal, all of that. So it's going to run the gamut of the full human experience. And so some of the things you're going to be here to do are not going to be, they're going to be uncomfortable, but there's a reason behind them. And so, yeah, I think there's, I guess if we want to label them good or bad, I just see it as the full gamut of the human experience.
Yeah. How about you, Medge? What are your thoughts on this?
I will say, well said, Robert. So I believe we are in a big video game. Can you imagine that? And everybody have a reason to be there. So the person that we are meeting at the supermarket, everybody, I truly believe that every human being that we, or animals that we will meet on Earth is there for a reason. So I feel really that we made this agreement before to meet these people and to have these people who will go under our skin, because this person will help us understand anger or understand how to control it, how to be more balanced, how to be more aligned. I truly believe that.
How about you, Lily? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I agree with both of you. And it made me laugh because I call them the irrational reactions, right? There are some that, I don't know, as kids, they got stung by a bee and now they have fear for the bees, right? That it's, you can consider, okay, I understand, let's get it out of your system. But sometimes it's like you say, you see someone you haven't seen in your life and you say, I call that, and you see it, it's like, okay. And it's very funny because in the spiritual world, it's like, no, I want to love everybody, right? But it comes that person out of the blue. It's like, "Rrr." And this is why for me, mastering body, emotions, and thought help us to manage everything. And for me too, wherever a strong, like with my partner right now, I know we had a contract that if something happens, we will come together for the service for humanity. But I say, you know what? I'm going to also, I don't want to be with anybody by contract anymore. I think we are in an incarnation where we can full be our own and decide who do we want to be aside from contracts. So for me, it's harmonized all those contracts, and now let me feel, oh, it seems okay. I want to be with you, and I want to have that with other persons too. So for me, is in general harmonize, master body, emotions, and thoughts, and feel absolutely free in this incarnation to move forward and ascend.
Wonderful. One last question, and I want to give you a moment to share a bit about what you do in terms of your work and how people can work with you. But before we dive into that, is there something, whether it be a technique, a modality, a way of thinking, that you would encourage people to move toward in order to not just deal with conflict, but actually cultivate a deeper connection, intimacy, sacredness, consciousness within the relationships that they have? Like, it's not just dealing with problems, but it's investing in the beauty of a relationship. Is there something that you would want to share, a message of encouragement or a technique that maybe you bring to the table? Medge, is there something?
So I will say that I work more on myself. So what I will do, I will encourage people to work more on themselves and understand really the trigger, the stuff that makes them uncomfortable. Because as soon as you understand that, you can see right away. Somebody will come into your life, will have this trigger because it's almost made for that, right? As a relationship that we have. And right away I will perceive it. And you remember you say about have built this empathy, understand that, okay, they are doing their best. They are not there to just come and be under our skin, but just doing their best in the lives that they have, in the missions that they have. And when I learned that, I learned how to understand my own mission and working on calming down the fire inside, calming down the triggers inside. That changes everything. So
Mhm.
inviting people to work on themselves, I think it begins like that, by that. This is the first step.
Wonderful. Medge, how can people work with you and where can they reach out and connect with you?
So a work that I adore doing, it's retreats. So I do a few retreats a year in the United States and also in Europe, where people embrace who they are. So I encourage people to embrace this uniqueness that they have, and be fully authentic, because you cannot play a role. You cannot play. Yes, you can put a costume, but under it's you. So I help people do that in their life. So they can join me on my website, medjaspan.com. Instagram, Facebook, it's the same, Twitter. Reach out, and I love what I do. It's not work, it's just a mission that I absolutely adore. So
Wonderful.
thank
And we'll
you.
put Medge's website in the caption of this video after it goes to replay. So, Medge, thanks for being here today. Robert, what message of encouragement or advice would you give to us to deepen our relationships?
Yeah, for me, it's been expanding in awareness, right? And the way I was able to expand in my awareness was the ability to pause. That's been the largest contributing factor to expansion of my awareness. And what's given me the ability to pause is breath work. And so, awareness expansion, being able to pause, and what allows me and what I've seen significant shifts in others and my clients is breath work every day, using the breath to get into a deep meditative state. There's other modalities, obviously, but I've seen and experienced the difference in what that daily breath work can do for you. The getting out of your head and falling more into alignment with spirit, and alignment with your higher self, and coming to that awareness that you have a mind, but you're not the mind. And all of that started with breath work. So I would say if there was any one thing people could take away from this conversation, is to how to start working towards building a sacred relationship with themselves so they can then show up in the world and create sacred relationships with others, it would be doing breath work every day.
Wonderful. Thank you, Robert. And how can people work with you? How are the ways that you serve them? Where can they reach out and connect with you?
Yeah, so as I said previously, I guide people out of suffering and disconnection, right? And sometimes during that journey, and so I do that by shamanic healing sessions. I do sound healing, guided breath work and meditation. I have path integration support where, as they begin to remember who they are and they begin to awaken, they start to actually unravel these spiritual gifts and start to remember them. And so that's where that path integration support comes in. It's sacred support for those who are like stepping into those roles as healers, as guides, or simply just wholer versions of themselves. And in those remembrance ceremonies, which I just held one this last weekend, we create space for that activation. We anchor that ancient wisdom, and allow you to return to your divine blueprint. And so, anyone interested in either being guided out of suffering or as they're on their path, begin to reawaken or remember their divine gifts, I offer support in that domain as well. You can find me at handsofera.org is the website, and the same Hands of Era on Instagram as well.
Wonderful. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah.
Lilly, what advice or encouragement would you give us to cultivate that sacredness, that consciousness in our relationships?
It's fantastic. I totally agree with Robert. And for me, mastering body emotions and thought start with body. And the more, and as I said at the beginning, stop, right? That's the pause. And I said also the breathe. So this is for me very good step into it. And then I have like a diary. So you start recognizing all the emotions and where are stuck, because the body is going to tell you. So when you start going through all the spectrums of emotions within yourself and say, how do I feel happy? How do I feel sad? Where does it feel? How does it feel? Is it sparkly? Is it not? It's like in every part of you. And that's going to help, for me, body sustain emotions. And when they're both in alignment, then your mind is integrated. And this is where the expansion comes. And when you start having more connections with different gifts, with different energies, you also know, oh, well, that's not my emotion, that's another one. So the more you learn how to distinguish those different qualities that are in you, that is going to help then to understand also others, because you're going to feel them, oh, that's okay, it's not about you. Right? It's like, don't take it personal. It's never about you. And you can get out of that drama. I call it also drama. And how you do it, be also joyful and playful for yourself. You know, oh, it's like, I see Lily here again. That anger is coming up. Let's make it more fun. Let's make it dissolve.
Thank you, Lily. How are you serving people? How can they work with you? What's the best place for them to connect with you?
Yeah, it's for me, go to lilly-wong.com, and it's about breaking all kinds of myths, traumas, misbeliefs that they are not allowing you to move forward into the next step. And so you can also have a higher impact into the world in oneness. Because for me, a new humanity is not something we do, it's something we vibrate. So for me, it's how do we reach that vibration that can help humanity evolve and ascend. And also, you're going to see me very soon in Awakening Magazine, in every month sharing an article. So that's another way of connecting and seeing, because I have a very wide things that I share, like Medge, passionately.
Wonderful. Also, want to encourage those who are watching, if you haven't already subscribed to Awakened Magazine, you can do that at awakenedmagazine.com/subscribe. It's a free subscription. We are a digital publication and release several interviews and articles every single week. And so encourage you to check that out. Medge and Robert and Lily, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with us today. So excited to be with you on this journey. And as I mentioned at the beginning, we have our Rise and Shine live stream every Wednesday, 9 a.m. Pacific time, 12 noon Eastern time. And if this conversation has resonated with you or been helpful for you in any way, you can watch the live stream on all the different platforms. Specifically encourage you to check it out at YouTube, on our YouTube account, and subscribe there for free and share it with a friend. All right, until next week, see you guys. Have a wonderful week.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you, David. Thank